So why use mainframes? Because no two businesses are alike, even competitors in the same field. Mainframes need to be open, adaptable, and ever evolving. And that's before we even talk about the processing power or the system capacity. Because mainframes are built for business, they need to support anything a business could possibly want as part of their business model. When the first companies started using Linux, Linux became a supported operating system. When open source software and hybrid cloud models started becoming part of the way work gets done, you started seeing APIs and cloud-ready solutions appear on the mainframe. What I'm getting at here is that if it's important, you'll find it here on the mainframe. So, for example, let's talk about Linux for a minute, because this is a great example of something that runs really well on Z. Linux runs great on my rented cloud instance. It runs great on the server under my desk. It even runs on my Raspberry Pi. So why do I want to run Linux on the mainframe? Is it going to run any better? Well, what if I could make a Linux instance with 15 processors and a couple gigs of memory? And I also wanted to access like 32 different storage area networks and a couple different network VLANs. Well, I can get that big, powerful Linux system, but I can also run that Linux with all of its data being encrypted at all times through pervasive encryption. So that's possible, and that's pretty cool. I could build 5 more of those same exact servers without needing 5 times the physical resources because of virtualization. That's a huge bonus. I can even bring up Linux Docker instances within the ZOS operating system, where they can run right next to ZOS applications, so I don't need a full system image if there's just one specific application I need. Part of the big reason for running things on the mainframe is consolidation. Now, companies are always looking for ways to save money on operations. So in addition to being able to bring all of those compute resources, like the CPU and memory, into one big box, companies are also able to consolidate things like power supplies, networking adapters, and cooling. Having one larger, efficient cooling unit in a mainframe is much better than having 300 individual CPU fans out there. In business, you'll often find 2 major types of transactions happening. There's real-time transactions. That's like stuff that is reactionary, event-based, needs to happen right now. And that's stuff like swiping a credit card, making a purchase, changing your insurance policy. That stuff needs to happen instantly. And then there's batch processes, which we've talked about a little bit before. But that kind of summarizes changes and actions that have happened during a period of time, like figuring out paychecks or figuring out your phone bill for the month. Those are batch processes. The mainframe excels in doing both from a performance, security, and a data integrity point of view. Just to give an idea about how prevalent the mainframe is and what a powerhouse it is in business, they power 68% of the world's production workloads. 68%, that's more than half. It's quite a bit more than half. It's 2/3. It's more than 2/3. So despite running 2/3 of the world's production workloads, they take up only 6% of the total IT cost. Think about that, 6% to run 68%. That's, I mean, okay, I'm a little bit biased, but I happen to think that even if I wasn't sitting in an IBM studio right now, that would still impress me. And that's why I'm so excited you're here to learn all about the IBM Z. You'll walk into a job interview and tell them you know parallel sysplex, IODF configs. You put down on a resume that you know about ZOS components and how to manage mainframe security. You're putting yourself in a great place. I hope you're having fun. I know I am, because these skills are great ones to have.